We're very happy to partner in this series of webinars on the comeback of the coach industry with CheckMyBus. I would like to introduce Marc Hofmann, who's the founder of CheckMyBus and who's also a Busworld Academy expert. Marc, very welcome. Floor is yours.
So just unmuted. Thank you, Jan. Welcome also from my side. Great audience here. We have over 50 countries that are actually in this webinar. And Hannes, if you might bring up the slides, that would be great. So before actually kicking off the customer journey, I would just like to show everyone a picture that I found on LinkedIn, and which I think is so true in so many different ways. You see us all there on a small island. Someone says there, be sure to wash your hands and all will be well. And we see three big tsunami waves actually that are rolling over us or will roll over us. One is the COVID wave that everyone sees at the horizon or sees already basically crashing, and there's a crisis. Everyone knows about this. And there's a second wave coming, which here in this picture is called recession. And I think we can all be sure that there will be a recession coming. How strong, we don't know yet. This actually, I think, for the bus business is a challenge, but on the other hand, can also be an opportunity. Think about people shifting from private cars, which is always an investment, to actually buses, as an example. And the largest of these tsunami waves is the climate change. And this year looks like it will be the hottest again in history. So that wave is there. And I think everyone who is in this virtual room is part of the solution. So we all in the bus industry, we can help actually to change this game and overcome this problem. But of course, that requires us to come out stronger, and that will also require us to further boost our digital skills. And that is one of the reasons why we set up the series of webinars, bringing success cases and expert speakers from all across the world to share actually that knowledge and support everyone in this business to come out stronger. We use a customer journey, or we created a simple customer journey that we will use for all of the webinars also in the future. You see these beautiful blue bubbles and the arrows, and the idea is actually that each of these touch point supports the other touch point, and we all have to spin this wheel. So starting with the demand, of course, that means understanding the needs of the user, setting up a network, smart demand planning. There's a lot of digital topics involved, and I'm very happy that we have National Express here with John Bolton as a speaker who has a really big, or had a really big challenge actually to restart one of the largest networks in bus industry from the scratch. So this is something we will hear about, and I'm very sure that he used quite some smart tools and mechanisms to do this. Moving further in that in the customer journey, of course, it's key to have an attractive offer, and that attractive offer can be boosted digitally. It's also about smart pricing, especially in times of COVID. I think a lot of people ask themselves the question, what is the right price? And then, of course, of acquiring users. And we know that some users are doubtful to come back, some aren't, and we have to have the right opportunity for the right user group. So I'm very happy to actually have Max on board in the webinar, who will talk about dynamic pricing. Oliver Wyman is an international consultancy with a very strong mobility practice. So I think we will hear quite some interesting examples on this. Very few words on CheckMyBus. For those who don't know us, we are a global search engine for buses. And of course, with that, we can help actually to bring the attractive offer of any operator to a global audience. We always say that the multi-channel approach for user acquisition is the best one. So everyone should work or use all channels that are profitable, be it OTAs, be it Google, be it social media, whatsoever, of course, also including us, as all of these channels have different advantages. Moving further in the customer journey, of course, once the user is on board, it is really important to create a formidable user experience, to have the user come back, to have the user convert, to bring the user in the bus. And very happy to have Mobility ADO here. It's a company with 80 years of experience, but now actually transforming fully into the digital world. And with Joel, we have someone here who is actually one of the driving people in the company to push that forward. And I think you will have very interesting information stories how Mobility RDO is doing this. We don't have anything on loyalty and retention. That doesn't mean that this is very important, because it's the key actually to keep the users once you have it. And spinning back the circle, last but not least, we have Silo on board, not 80 years of experience, but a company that's just a few years old, and who is one of the few companies which is actually stating, well, Corona actually accelerated our business. So I think you'll be very curious to hear this at the end of the webinar. Barak will explain more about what Silo is doing. It's basically about on-demand business, but also they changed and adjusted their business into a new segment, which I think is an option that many of us could consider in these special times. And then before actually handing over the virtual stage to John, I'd like to give it back to Jan, who is coming up with an interesting poll and asking for your opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for setting up the context and referring to the customer journey, which will be the leitmotif during all the upcoming webinars that we do together with CheckMyBus. So thank you very much for this.